Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umber Rays, here to talk today about a couple of things, but no, I changed. No, you're not the king. You do have a knife, so I guess you are in charge. The spookiest month of the year is Tonberry month, apparently, and regardless of distractions, let's get into talking about what this video is really about. So first of all, for those of you who have been paying attention earlier, a little bit earlier, not too long ago as a matter of fact, there was Tokyo Game Show, and Tokyo Game Show was a moment for, I feel like, War of the Visions to come out and say a whole bunch of news and get people hyped for the 1-year anniversary. And it kind of just didn't happen. Like, there really wasn't much of anything that happened at TGS for War of the Visions. So much so that it isn't even really worth talking about anymore. So let's move on. However, we did kind of find out at Tokyo Game Show that there was going to be another live stream that was already planned. Supposedly, at least tentatively, it was planned to happen around October 18th. And it was more than likely going to be the last live stream before the 1-year anniversary got it started. So, of course, we're all waiting for with bated breath to find out, because I do think that the War of the Visions 1-year anniversary will be an incredibly critical point for the game's survival and as well as its success. Mainly because if you have not been living under a rock, you've probably heard of Genshin Impact, one of the biggest gacha games to ever come along that has come out of nowhere and had monumental success. Partly because of its brightly colored graphics, partly because of its characters, partly because of the fact that it is, of course, a free-to-play kind of open world, people have been saying Breath of the Wild kind of game with, as well, you know, gacha in there as well. And I have already played the game, I have tried it out, it was not super impressive to me based on the gacha rates and the going trend of how gacha eventually goes, with being just incredibly expensive, low rates, and not a ton of resources in-game. Not to mention that I've heard about stamina issues, as this might be a game that just burns itself out and fades away. But regardless, it has made an impact on gacha, siphoning away players from their current games, and as well, making a buttload of money. Some estimations have put about $100 million in approximately 2 weeks, which is, if we were to compare revenues for September for War of the Visions, that would probably be somewhere between 150 times more than War of the Visions made. Definitely something that I think all of the developers should take note, and we've already seen certain reactions. Whether they were planned or not, it does feel like a lot of the gacha games are going to be pushing out major updates to their games to try and pull people back and away from this new game that has come along. I do believe Epic 7 was something that one of my stream viewers told me about. I do believe it was Leafa. Told me that they were putting out a major update in that game to kind of give bonuses for people who had just way too many dupes, which does scream to me as trying to keep your player base super invested. But anyway, War of the Visions is coming up on its 1-year anniversary. Getting back and around to my initial point is the fact that I have come up with a list of 7 major improvements I would like to see answered for the 1-year anniversary, and I do think, Gummy, if you are listening, or Justin, or any of you guys who is supposed to be doing your research out there into what the community feels like, I do think that these are going to be incredibly important things to improve for the future, or the game will probably die very, very quickly, or get into a state where it will never be able to recover. A lot of things like new player experience as well as events are, of course, top of my list. So I'm going to get through them one a day for this entire week leading up to the next live stream to see what actually kind of gets announced. But regardless, we should start somewhere very obvious. Number 1. So today, number 1 is to talk about raids, because raids are a thing that has been reoccurring in the game for a long period of time. But if you are like me and play the JP side, you do know that the JP side raids, when they initially came out, were broken. So broken that Global just skipped over the first raid and pretended like it never even happened, and allowed people to buy Thancred shards for Lapis, which was generally value. But focus. Point is that raids have recently gotten a fair amount of updates. Basically, raid stacking has been a major update. More recently, we've seen the inclusion of bonus units, as well as a raid pity timer, as well as a bonus value, rare item drops for raids, as well as just a fair amount of features that have gone in to making raids feel much better. And I'm here to tell you that it has not worked. As a matter of fact, last night on my stream, when some people were asking me about what I thought of the raid system and the improvements, I would say that things have actually gotten worse since previous times. That's right, I'm not even joking. I do think that raids have generally gotten worse. Because while a lot of improvements have been put in, the way that they have been implemented is just pretty darn bad and feels like a step backward or more frustration. And we all know that raids at this point do not need more frustration. Basically, trying to farm enough resources to not only get your rainbow rocks, your rainbow orbs, your all the different things that you want, your crafting materials so you can build the weapons and accessories that you need to be able to compete and fight in certain instances, and all of the recipes on top. There is a ton of currency that is needed, and it is not easy to get this currency very quickly. So yes, to say the least, I would say that this has been incredibly a frustrating process in the past that has just kind of gotten worse over time because it just generally wears you down. The idea of having to do a raid about like 100 times minimum just to get to the maximum value that you could be getting out of this. But not only that, you on top put on the frustration of just never getting rare raids. And not only that, but just the stress of having to do it another 100 times potentially to get enough resources to build a +5 UR. And while a lot of people out there say to me, hey, Umbra, you don't need those +5s, right? Yeah, I'm the one who said that originally. But it doesn't feel generally good because it feels like you're more behind with no way of catching up, because equipment in this game has just been the constant grind fest, and it doesn't feel like it's had a ton of payoff except in places where you can get more lapis. Putting a large power dispersion between high-tier Whaley players and low-tier players. I just don't think it's incredibly fair or incredibly good. So let me go over the 3 things that have been added to the JP side recently and why I think they're essentially absolutely terrible. So first of all, the bonus units. A system that I have categorically hated since it came into WOTF, because while there is inherently nothing terribly wrong about the idea of giving people bonuses for units they do have, WOTF systems do not work well for this, and especially in a raid where performance does matter. In this game, it takes a long time to build characters. It takes a long time to get characters enough job points, enough EXP, and enough character shards to put them in a good spot. You cannot bring a level 30 character to a Golem raid and expect to do really well when Golem is at level 100 and can insta-kill a unit and you're just wasting more orbs. This is a thing that happens in the bonus point as well, where while it would be nice to generally run bonus units, most of the time it defeats the purpose of bringing a bonus unit because your performance is so bad that you're actually not getting as much value or getting any value a lot of the times. And I'm sorry, but provided that Gummy does not tell us far in advance what characters we will need, and I'm sorry, I do love being surprised by what character is coming next, but let me tell you right now, the banners that we currently see on the JP side, for example, these help banners to get you up to speed for a potential raid, such as the wind banner. Not only is there RNG on these kind of banners to potentially get characters that would help you and require such a large amount of lapis for a 1-week event, just doesn't even make sense in terms of the value and spending that you need to do to get value out of this. But geez, man, Bonus units just don't work on the sense that we don't have enough foresight on the JP side to really tell when we are going to need these units or whether or not this raid is even going to be worth it. Because a lot of the times the equipment isn't necessarily worth it. It's just not worth the stress and strain, and it's not worth the constant stress and strain where every single month we have to do another raid where it just feels bad. So overall, I think that this unit bonus system is absolutely terrible. The only ones that really benefit from it are people who can just mass spend on these, and I guess you're keeping your whales happy, but you're killing your community off with this crap. And it is crap. I'm not going to mince words. It is just absolutely an awful feeling. And in my opinion, the idea of whether or not this bonus is worth it, first of all, these minimal bonus units just suck. And I think that not having any unit period ready for this feels even worse than just not having the bonus unit system at all. I do think that it just generally will make people feel much worse if they don't have any bonus. But regardless, it does raise a big question why there aren't just more bonus units, especially for lower tiers. It doesn't even make sense. Like, you're just making your community feel bad, the ones who cannot whale and get these new characters right away, which already feels pretty bad. The unit bonus system deserves to be thrown in the trash, as well as whoever thought this was a good idea. F you. Sorry. I know you're a person, but this is just garbage. Continuing on, the next thing I need to talk about, big long rants tonight, is unfortunately about a Tonberry. Not you, buddy. Is about the rare raid, basically a pity timer on it. So originally we knew that this was coming to the game, and originally it was thrown around that apparently it was supposed to be about every 10 times you get a rare raid. Apparently that was just far too generous, so the rare raid has been, pity timer has been introduced on the JP side this first time with an amount of time that you need to hit of 20. And what's even better is the fact that if you do actually hit a rare raid while getting up to the 20, it resets you to 0, meaning what's the friggin' point? First of all, it's pretty unlikely that you are going to hit in approximately 10 times. So from my experience this time around, it's been approximately most of the time needing to get all the way up to 20 quite a few times, which has been very, very frustrating. But the one time where I got to 19 and then it happened, where Tonberry popped up and reset me to 0, didn't feel exactly great. First of all, I don't understand why, other than the fact that they really want to push people to just constantly spend on farming in this game, because, hey, guess what? If you're constantly in this game, you must be enjoying it, right? Right? I think that this pity timer has been bungled unbelievably highly. The fact that if they are going to make it 20 times, but it resets when you do hit it, does just feel awful. It feels absolutely horrible. I don't like anything about this. I think this is trash. It should have just been 10 times if they wanted to do this reset method. I understand that the rare raid is incredibly valuable, but that's the point. The point is to just make it much easier on your players. We don't want to fight Golem over 100 times in a bland generic map that you have recycled, in terms of just every single raid has been in that kind of map recently, where it's just always that in slightly different patterns and slightly different starting positions. We are tired of it. We are tired of these recycled assets. What are you doing with all of the money people are actually spending on this game? Because it's definitely not going to asset development. Oh my god. So yes, the pity timer is absolutely horrible. I think it's a fucking joke, and I can't believe that anybody thought this was okay. If anyone on the JP side community actually thinks that this is fine, go like this. And because honestly, you're fucking drunk at the wheel if you think that this shit is good. Alright. But enough ranting about that. Let's get to the last thing, which is, of course, the bonus values. Which, to be honest, I thought this was going to be okay. Out of all the things that could have potentially not been screwed up, I thought that this might be okay. So basically, every time you do this, you have a chance of getting some extra drops. And let me tell you, the rare icon on this has never been more true or anything in this game, because from my experience, it's been approximately about a 1 in 25 chance of dropping. I have gone up to level 100, and I have seen about 5 rare drops at incremental different levels. And let me tell you, it is just not enough. These Mega Crisps are such a pain in the butt to farm. They are so expensive in the shop. They are not fun. They are not easy. And for whatever I thought originally this was going to really be a giant benefit, it's not. It happens too infrequently. It doesn't seem to be affected by bonus unit. And dear Lord, if it has been affected by my Howlet as a bonus unit, then it is a pathetic amount that we are actually seeing. You are not rewarding your players. You are being incredibly greedy. You are going to kill this game by making your events not fun, but frustrating. And my God, I can't believe I need to bring this up at this point in the game. Long story short, the raids are still just as miserable of an experience. I would argue, actually, to this point, that raids have generally become more annoying. So let me make 3 very simple points that I hope could be very understandable by Gummy. First of all, bonus units. Give us more options. Give us more than just whatever is brand new. We want to buy the units because we think they are new and cool, not because we want them just because you say we need them. That just feels bad, and I will probably attest to a lot of different players out there. Secondly, when it comes to the rare raid pity timer, we are tired of mass farming weapons and equipment or ingredients for weapons. Get a new end game. It didn't work for me in Epic 7. It didn't work for a lot of people in Epic 7. It wasn't fun there, and it's not fun here. Make some goddamn new content. You charge us enough money for it. And last but not least, when it comes to rare, I know that rare icon, I know the definition of rare. But I think you could be a little bit more generous to players and make raids feel less frustrating and less like we need to do it 150 to 3,000 times in approximately 7 days. You're not making us want to stay in the game longer. We're not even making us want to auto it or bot it anymore. We just don't want to do it. So screw off with it. It's not fun. Make it more generous to the players, especially if you're going to be constantly making us tune out weapons and equipment and accessories every couple of weeks or every week. It's annoying, it's unfun. I don't need to repeat this anymore. Raids are a major staple of this game. They are a common reoccurring event. And right now, I'm just going to tell you, they are not fun. They are not interesting. They are boring, repetitive, and frustrating experiences. And if it's going to be a mainstay where you guys continually want to keep doing this, let me tell you, you'll lose a lot more players very quickly because none of us are just enjoying this. Or at least the ones, a lot of us aren't enjoying it. And really at this point, you have a lot of competition out there. You should not be slacking off. And let me tell you, if you don't believe me, just wait a while, because after this 1-year anniversary, you're probably going to lose a lot more players if you continue the way you are. So this is video number 1. I hope you're excited. Let me know. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Try and keep it civil with other people, please. Other people, I know that they look like shadows on the internet, but they are human beings, and they do have opinions that are valid a lot of the time. Anyway, justify your response in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you for video number 2, where I will be ranting a lot more. I'll be very interested by the end of this week if I have a voice left to say things with. Thanks for watching. Take care.